If you want a customer service job, you need to have these keywords on your resume, and these are the interview questions that you need to start studying and preparing for. And I've also made other videos about other jobs like data science, product management, product marketing manager, retail marketing. So if there are other jobs that you want me to do, put that in the comment as well, because I actually got this video idea from someone in the comments. Now, while you take a look at these customer service resume keywords and making sure you have these on your resume, I want to talk a little bit about why I like customer service roles. And that's because there's a very low barrier to entry, and these are often pretty entry-level jobs. And a lot of customer service jobs can actually be done while working from home, fully remote. And for those of you who don't know what a customer service job is, this is basically anyone who's going to be providing customer service or support whenever you walk into a store or whenever you call a support helpline. And customer service jobs are really good because even if you don't want to stay in customer service, you also build foundational skills that are transferable for other careers, like sales skills, which you can then use to move into sales or recruiting. Or you also build good administrative skills, or sometimes they teach you IT skills. So you can move into admin roles or office manager roles or even operations roles. And just so you know that I didn't make up all these resume keywords and you really do need them, I based these off of a real job description that I found right here, and that's how I know you actually need these if you want to pass the ATS and you want to get an interview. And as you can see right here, you want to be able to say that you can answer client queries, provide product information, and as a general rule of thumb on your resume, you actually don't need to include a lot of the soft skills, like being empathetic. That's not something you should write as a skill on your resume. So as you can see here, keywords are like troubleshooting, positive customer experience, answering calls, emails, chats, customer service procedures and policies. A really powerful example to put on your resume and also in interviews is going to be talking about upselling, scheduling calls back, and you are going to want to put this in your skills section, like you can call it Microsoft Office Suite, or you can talk about Microsoft Office, Word, Excel. You do not need to put multitasking on your resume because that's going to be found out during your interview process and it's kind of implied. Now keep in mind, a lot of these fully remote customer service jobs are going to be for larger companies, and so there's going to be a lot of formal training and the pay tends to be a little bit better. But the trade-off though is because you are fully remote, your job is a little bit less safe and is probably subject to layoffs. And to be fully inclusive, I also analyzed a in-person job description like this one here for Chevron. And one of the major differences, as you can see here, is because you are working in person, it's going to talk a lot about knowing the different safety, security, and quality guidelines, being able to follow proper procedures and practices. Safety is obviously going to be a really huge keyword that they're going to care about. And because this is in person, there's going to be a lot of talk about point of sale activities, or basically managing the cash register, handling the cash drawer, doing reconciliations and audits. And for these in-person customer service roles, make sure you're also able to clearly show in your resume that you're able to handle any type of physical demands that are required. Okay, so now that you've got the resume keywords, you should be getting more interviews. And now these are the interview questions that you can probably expect to get when you're interviewing for a customer service job. So take a look at these interview questions up on the screen here. Make sure you write them down and that you start to practice giving your answers. I'm going to give you a few hints and tips for each of these about how to properly answer these questions so you can stand out and get a customer service job. When they ask you to tell them about a time you went above the call of duty, you don't want your answer to simply be that you worked late or that you took overtime or that you came to the job early. You're going to want to have a solid example about where you did something maybe outside of your normal responsibilities. Maybe you fixed a problem that no one asked you to, or you found something was wrong in a process and you ended up fixing that, which had bigger benefits. When they ask you, tell me about a time where you had to deal with an angry or rude customer, make sure your ending is not predictable and boring. For example, based on this interview question itself, I already know that you're going to deal effectively with a rude customer that was angry, and my guess is the end of your story is that you talked to them and they weren't angry or rude anymore. So don't let the story stop there. Make sure you can talk about something else that happened. Maybe you ended up upselling this person, or they gave you a really awesome customer service review and you got a 5 out of 5, or you got a bonus for it. When you had to learn something new in a short period of time, make sure you're able to talk about something that was important to the job. Don't just talk about some random skill that you had to learn. Now for this question here about upsell, even if you don't get asked this in your interview process, make sure you have an example where you can talk about a time you upsold a customer. Even if you were just working at a gas station or something, right? You can talk about a time where they came in just for gas and you told them about a special that you had where it's buy one, get one free on the Red Bull, and they ended up buying 6 cans of Red Red Bull or something like that. Make sure you've got an example of this because any hiring manager is going to want to have somebody who can increase sales. If you get asked how you stay organized, you can give whatever answer you want to talk about how you're organized, but make sure that you proactively share an example of a time where you had multiple competing priorities or you were really busy one day and how you were able to keep everything organized and in sync so you were able to accomplish everything before the deadline. Next, if they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Make sure you clearly tell them that you want to be there at that same company 5 years from now. But don't talk about trying to take their job or getting a promotion or things like that. Obviously, they know that you're going to want to get a promotion in 5 years, but you don't need to clearly say that during the interview. Instead, talk about the skills that you're hoping to gain and learn, how then you can help the company over the next 5 years. When you are sharing your greatest weakness, don't share anything that's an actual problem for doing the job. So, for example, don't say, oh, I've never had sales experience before. You don't need to call that out. You need to talk about a weakness that actually won't get you rejected from the job. If they ask you why you want to work here, make sure you've done your research about the company or the role so that you have something exciting to share about the company mission or vision and how that actually aligns with your personal goals and ambitions. Don't just talk about why you actually want the job itself. We all know that you want to get a paycheck and that you need to get this job, but they also want to get a sense that you really want to be there and that you're motivated. They'd rather hire somebody who's slightly less qualified, but is really excited about the job and they know is going to work really hard. And then for this last one here, if they ask you to talk about a mistake that you made, make sure the mistake that you share is not something super big that ended up getting you fired or put on some type of performance improvement plan. Talk about a very small mistake that you made and make sure that the ending of your story talks about a way that you were able to prevent these types of mistakes from happening again, because that's what they really care about. So if you want a customer service job, now you know all of the resume keywords that you need and you even know what interview questions that you can expect. Put down in the comments what other job descriptions you want me to cover, and please share this video with a friend who is looking for a customer service job. Thank you all for watching, and don't be afraid to shake things up and get a new job.